Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing my top 10 books of 2017. I have 7 physical books right here that I own, and the other 3 were library copies that I have to buy my own copies because they were amazing. So, the first book I'm going to show you is a screenshot of the book that I read at the very beginning of the year. I'm going to be showing you the order of I read them. So the first book that I read in 2017 was The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, the Millennium series or Millennium Trilogy. Enjoyed The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. I enjoyed that series. I read all 4 books, but I did not enjoy the 4th book. I enjoyed the first 3. The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, if you don't know, it's about a journalist who, at the very beginning, he's been sentenced to prison time for a defamation lawsuit against this millionaire company owner. He has to do prison time. But before he can go do his prison time, he gets contacted by this old man who was looking for his niece that vanished years ago. And everybody's saying that she died, or she ran away, or she was kidnapped. And so the old man contacts the journalist to help look through all the records and basically search, because that's his job title, is he owns a magazine. He is like a research journalist, and so he also gets help from this hacker named Elizabeth Salander, and she is the goth emo girl that everyone hates, but she's a loved character. Even though I'm mentioning the first book, I love her character in the first 3 books. In the 4th book, her character is drastically changed. It's not the same, and mainly that's because there is a new writer for the rest of the books in this series. Stieg Larsson, who wrote the first 3 books, who created the series, he unfortunately passed away, and now I think David Larsson is writing the rest, and book 5 was just announced, and I will not be reading it. But I also watched the first movie with Daniel Craig, and I loved it, and I wish they kept making the movies with these actors, but they are keeping it original in Swedish and making the 4th movie in the Swedish version now, and they are dubbing it in English. So I highly recommend The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. There's a lot of triggers. Rape is the main one, so if that triggers you, don't read it. Stay far away from it as possible, but otherwise it is a terrific series. And the next book is The Sun Is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon. This is Nicola Yoon's 2nd book, and this is the first book I've read from her, and I absolutely love it. This book is about a girl named Natasha. She is a Jamaican immigrant who is being deported. She came to America with her mother and father when she was 7 years old, and she is into science. This book takes place within 24 hours. So throughout the whole book, she's going all around New York trying to find out a way to keep her parents and herself and her little brother in the U.S. to stop their deportation. And she runs into a guy, her love interest, Daniel Bay, who is a Korean American, and he helps her, and they fall in love, or not fall in love, but it's insta love, but it's insta love in the best fashion. It's not cringy, it's amazing. And also throughout the book, everyone that Natasha or Daniel comes into contact with, they are having little pieces in this book. So the security guard at the offices of the lawyer for deportation, to stop deportation. She goes to a lawyer, and the security guard in that building has a small part in her actions. If the security guard didn't let her through, then this would have happened, but she did let her through, so this happened. So, and it's also got Daniel's family POVs in it. It's just an amazing book. Each chapter is like a couple of pages long, and yeah, the ending was amazing. Nicola Yoon did a fantastic job. This is an Own Voices novel. Nicola Yoon is Jamaican, and I think her husband is Korean American. I recommend this. I will be reading Everything, and watching a movie this year. And I'm hoping this one be turned into a movie too. The next book I'm going to be showing you is Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. I got this copy from Blogging for Books, and I also got This One Is Also a Star from Blogging for Books. I have been hearing all about it on BookTube, and it was getting good reviews and not so good reviews. So I read it and I loved it. It's all about parallel universes and going back and doing certain things. So this book is about a man named Jason. He is a family man. He has a wife and a grown son. And one night he's on his way to the store to pick up some food, and before he left to go to the store, he was reminiscing with his wife about a family friend who basically got Jason's future. Jason met his wife, and he gave up everything to settle down and let her live her dreams. And so the man who took Jason's spot has been awarded the most prestigious science award. And while Jason is on his way back home, he gets kidnapped and abducted and sent on another parallel universe where he has to watch, or where his wife is not his wife and his son has never been born. It's all about these time jumps and parallel universes and multiple versions of yourself. The ending will give you a mindfuck, but it is definitely worth the read. You do have to pay close attention to it. You have to be fully immersed in this book to understand it, or you will get confused. I think that's why it's got so many bad reviews, because so many people rush through books nowadays just to say they've read this many books. It's quantity over quality, and they are not enjoying this book. It is amazing writing. Blake Crouch, he's got a bunch of books that I want to read this year. I have heard a lot about his Wayward Pines trilogy that I am going to be reading this year. And so, Dark Matter by Blake Crouch, definitely a reread in the coming future for me. And I highly recommend it. So, go check it out if you haven't already. It is Blood Rose Rebellion by Rosalind Eves. It is a historical fantasy. It's set in England. It's about a girl named Anna who is being groomed for a sophisticated place in magical system. but she cannot perform any spells whatsoever. She is the laughing stock. She is looked down upon. And so her family sent her away to protect her to Hungary to live with her grandmother. Meets a bunch of gypsies who can perform magic, and that's a big no-no. Gypsies, or the Romani, as it's called in this book, are not allowed to perform magic as in modern times, and as always, gypsies are frowned upon. They're hated, and the Hungarian people don't want the gypsies in their country. So Anna meets a gypsy Romani boy named Gabor. He was my new book boyfriend. He was strong, he was caring, but he was disciplined. He wanted to stay away from Anna, but he couldn't. He helped save her, wanted to protect her, but he also needed to protect his family. And it's about magic. It's about how Anna can break the magic system and give magic to everybody, not just the elite, wealthy people. And she also defeats the Hungarian royal family. And there's also going to be a book 2 that comes out this month, and I cannot wait to read it. I'm hoping it's available on Blogging for Books. I'm checking every day because I want it. It is called The Lost Coast Conspiracy. It's about Anna's cousin, who I'm not going to spoil, but does something bad in the ending of this book. And so I can't wait to read it. I'm excited. And this is going to be another reread for me this year. So, Blood Rose Rebellion by Rosalind Eves. And I finally started reading the Lunar Chronicles this year. And I was not going to read any of the books after book 1. But Casey bought book 1 and book 2 for me for Mother's Day one year. And then I ended up buying the rest. And I finally read them last year. And Cinder was not my favorite. I could not stand Cinder. I could not stand Kai or any of the characters. I'm not a huge Cinderella fan. I was interested, more of a villain person, if you know what I mean. I like Queen Lavanna. And so, but I ended up loving Scarlet. This was my favorite one out of all the books. I did enjoy Fairest, the novella, and I did enjoy the last story in Stars Above, which is Something Borrowed, Something Blue. But this one is my favorite. It's the Little Red Riding Hood retelling. We meet Scarlet, whose grandmother is missing. She was a pilot, and Scarlet meets a lunar soldier who she doesn't know at the time. Wolf, who is another book boyfriend from the year, is a genetically modified soldier. He is a lunar citizen who was taken from his parents and turned into a soldier with wolf genes. He's all hairy, he's got wolf canines, he's got a good sense of smell now, he's got a better sense of hearing. And so he is basically introduced as a street fighter, and he has a horrible temper. And Scarlet is looking for her grandmother. She enlists his help, and they go to Paris to try to look for her, and along the way, Wolf is protecting her. He's the sweetest, softest person towards her, but he has a temper with everybody else. He's got that shy thing going on. He has never tasted tomatoes, and since she has a farm, she has given him tomatoes, and that becomes his new favorite food. And I have a favorite quote from Winter. I'll have to find the quote and tell y'all later, or you can go on my Goodreads and go on to the Winter review and read the quote from Scarlet. But this is my new OTP. I love Wolf and Scarlet. And the Something Borrowed, Something Blue story in Stars Above just put the knife in my heart. Before I read that story, I was trying to look for any fan fiction for this particular topic about these two, and lo and behold, it was already written by Marissa Meyer, and I wish I could just hug her and kiss her and say thank you, thank you, thank you. And ever since then, I have not looked for any more fan fiction because I have been satisfied. The next book I'm going to be talking about is The DaVinci Code by Dan Brown. I have watched the movies before I've read the books. Well, take that back. I watched Angels and Demons before I read any of the books and before I watched the movie adaptation of The DaVinci Code. But since The DaVinci Code is book 2, I think, yeah, I enjoyed it a whole lot more. I enjoyed the storyline. I like how it was cutthroat, backstabbing, and I loved the plot. I loved how they had to run, or basically find out that she is in the family line of Jesus. And it was cringy at times reading about the two old people having sex on the altar, but I enjoy these types of books. I like the treasure hunt type books, and Dan Brown, he's a master treasure hunter writer, and I will be reading his newest book, Origins, which some said is exactly like the Da Vinci Code of how he wrote the Da Vinci Code. So I don't know how that's going to be. If it's going to change my mind about the Da Vinci Code, which is my favorite book of his so far. The Darkest Minds by Alexandra Bakken. Love this book. I also read a library copy. I enjoy the entire series, so picking one out of this series was a struggle. The first one, I want to be part of the Black Betty crew so badly. The second one, I am just in love with the little cupcake Jude. The third one, it was an amazing ending to the trilogy. The fourth book, it's a close tie as being my favorite with The Darkest Minds, because I love the points of view from Sam, Lucas, and Lucas's sister. And even though I love Liam, I love Lucas more. He is a red, and we find out how it's a struggle to keep him under control, and how he's not under the mind control of the doctors and the guards. I love Liam and Ruby, and Chubbs has to be my favorite. Well, Chubbs and Zoo. Zoo, the cutest little thing. Every time I go to a store and I see the yellow cleaning gloves, the rubber yellow cleaning gloves, I think of Zoo. Because she has to wear them because she is a yellow. And yellows deal with electricity. Ruby is a orange. And it's the second highest threat level for all these kids. Liam and Chubbs are, I think, blue. And Liam mistakes Ruby as a blue when she escapes. And so, I'm not going to tell y'all anymore. But the other day, I was on Very Dice. I was on that app. And I decided to just look up the Darkest Minds and see how many tickets it would be before I could redeem them. And they have new covers. So I might have to pull a Hunger Games on this and buy the original covers in hardback and the new covers. This is what the new covers look like. Oh, look, it's the van. I'm loving these covers. And they also, Alexandra Bracken is writing book 5. Or book 4 in the series. It's not book 5, but it's technically book 5 because Through the Dark was freaking humongous. But in a good way. Book 4 or 5 is going to be all about Zoo grown up. Oh my god. And it's... and I'm ready for the movie. It's got Amanda Steinberg in it. Rue from the Hunger Games. She is the YA movie queen. She's starring in all these YA movie adaptations. The Hunger Games, The Hate You Give, The Darkest Minds, Everything. Why don't she just do all of it? All the YA adaptations from now on should star Amanda Steinberg. She is YA movie queen. That's what I dub her. She is amazing. I love her to pieces. I fell in love with her when she was Rue. She stole my heart. And she will be the perfect Ruby in The Darkest Minds. The next 3 books I have on this list are from Blogging for Books, like almost every other book. Except for the ones I showed you a screenshot of. Those were library books. But this one, Wonder Woman, Warbringer by Leigh Bardugo. This is my first book written by Leigh Bardugo that I've read. And I will definitely be picking up the rest of her books. She wrote Wonder Woman so beautifully and amazingly. It gripped me. And this is part of the DC Icon series. The one that just came out, the second one that just came out is Batman Nightwalker by Marie Lu. And I don't know how to feel about this series written by other authors and having different heroes or villains as the main. I want more from this Wonder Woman by Leigh Bardugo. It left off as Wonder Woman checking in on Aaliyah in as more grown up than when we left her. I want to know what happens to Aaliyah's brother. Does her mother know anything? Does her mother suspect that she left the island at all? I want more Wonder Woman. But yeah, I'm ready for Batman. I'm hoping Blogging for Books brings Batman so I can get a copy and review it. Like I said, I don't know how I feel about the DC Icon series. I am excited that we get different heroes and villains. But I want the original story to continue. I don't like series that have a different character in every single book of that series. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to reading Catwoman, which will be book 3, and that one's written by Sarah J. Maas. And like I contradict myself. I'm looking forward to the series. I'm looking forward to the other books, but I'm just hesitant to read different main character books in a series. I never liked it, and I've always been burned by that because I'm looking forward to more of this story and then not enjoying the next few sequels. So, Wonder Woman Warbringer, if you have not read it, go read it. And if you did read this one, pick up Batman, make a review, and let me know. Because I will be watching reviews of Batman. Even though I don't watch reviews of books that I want to read because I am swayed easily. I get spoiled. I will spoil myself when they tell me to turn off that video. No, I'm a rebel. I don't do it. Last two books were in my December book hauls. American Wolf. If you have not watched my December book haul, I go into great depth about what this one is about. It's about 06 and the Yellowstone wolves and how they were exterminated in the 20s and then brought back and they're hated. And it's a push-pull, and how when the Obamacare Act was signed, there was a little sentence saying that the Yellowstone wolves would stop being protected. In this book, you realize that the government makes these big-ass laws into 800 pages when they simply can't state what they really want as a law. Say, you can't do this, you can't do this. They have to use big-ass words, and in the middle of all them fucking pages that you're not reading, but you're just skimming, there's a law stating that we can't do this and the wolves can't be protected anymore because people are getting pissed off that they're eating livestock. Last book I will be talking about today is The Breathless by Tara Gogin. Loved it. It was a Southern Gothic. I used to watch Southern Gothic with my mom. That was her favorite show. It had Lucas Black star in it. And it was about magic and voodoo. And so this takes place in Alabama. And originally I thought it took place in Louisiana. It reminds me of the Skeleton Key because it has dark magic. There's this old voodoo witch doctor who lives in the woods next to this plantation. The girl, one of the sisters, she dies. And her boyfriend at the time gets blamed because he was found right beside her body and he ran away and he's been missing for a year after, and he comes back and the family wants to kill him, and it's all about magic and bringing people back from the dead and family secrets. So that was it for my top 10 books of 2017. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and comment down below which were your favorite books of 2017. Did you read any of the same books that I read? And if you did, please let me know. I would love to talk about them with you. And I will catch you in my next video. Bye.